We have to care about the constitutional rights of all citizens, including those who are indigent and have been accused of crimes. Everybody requires due process.
Raise your right hands. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give be the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Gideon pretty much says is, poor people have a right to have a good lawyer too.
In June of 1961, Clarence Earl Gideon was accused of breaking into and stealing from a pool hall. He could not afford an attorney and was denied one because his case was not a capital offense, so he was forced to represent himself. Gideon challenged this rule.
Your Honor, I request this court to appoint counsel to represent me in this trial.
The court denied his request. Because he had no knowledge of the legal system, Gideon was convicted and sentenced to 5 years in prison. He appealed to the Supreme Court, arguing that the Sixth Amendment guarantees free legal defense for all defendants charged with serious crimes in both civil and criminal cases. In 1963, the Supreme Court ruled in Gideon's favor, establishing that all indigent people are guaranteed access to court-appointed counsel. Gideon was the first non-criminal defendant to plead his right to an attorney. His pivotal role helped transform the public defender system into what it is today.
My name is Deborah Warner-Dennis. I'm an assistant public defender practicing in Baltimore City. I've been practicing for about 15 years. I'm currently in the felony division. I try cases from felony drugs to homicides.
We're pretty much, I think, across the board swamped with cases. And we all suffer from very little manpower and large caseloads. And, the concern is how many people, or how efficient and effective the representation will be.
This is the way it really works. You go to jail. You're charged with an offense based upon what a police officer thinks you did. They set a bond, and if you're poor and you can't make the bond, you don't get out. So you sit, and you sit, and you sit. You may have lost your house. Your kids may be needing sustenance. You may have been taken out of high school. All the things that could happen if you were summarily plucked from your life. You have so much tremendous pressure to plead guilty.
Since you were a first-time offender, you should have been eligible for a non-adjudication. I'm not sure what happened, and I apologize that took place, but it's not the end of the world. It's not the end of the world. We can definitely fix it.
It's the end of my world, because that messed up a lot of stuff for me. I've been screwed around the first time by a public defender, and when they told me I had another one, I figured my life is completely over.
The access to resources is very limited, especially legal resources. And so when someone is accused of a crime, they have a right to have a lawyer. And if they don't have the money, then they will have to represent themselves. And more than likely find themselves convicted because they don't know the rules of evidence. They don't know the rules of procedure. And so they're now afforded a resource that they should be afforded, and that's legal representation and effective representation. And that's another thing, changing the mindset about public defenders. Sometimes, the community is insulting. I've been called a public pretender, or I've been told by a client, Ms. Warner, you've done a good job. You should go to law school. So many of even our clients don't believe that we're lawyers. They think we're lawyer wannabes. We're studying to be lawyers, that we're not quite lawyers. We have to change that mindset. Everyone deserves to have an attorney when they're accused of a crime, period. There's no question, there's no discussion, there's no argument. A person has a right to have a legal representation so that they can be represented effectively.
Despite half a century of progress, even today, in 2013, far too many Americans struggle to gain access to the legal assistance they need. And far too many children and adults routinely enter our juvenile and criminal justice systems with little understanding of the rights to which they're entitled, the charges against them, or the potential sentences they may face. In short, America's indigent defense systems exist in a state of crisis.